It is a special day for us, and it is an exciting day for us. And more about that in a moment. I want to welcome you to Unity of Charlotte, where our mission is to nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. I'm Reverend Pat Dre, and I'm so glad you chose to be with us here today. Whether you've joined us in person, and I love all these lovely faces and this high energy, or whether you've joined us on Zoom because you can drink it all in just as well. But we have the advantage of seeing each other in person, and that is a lovely thing. And I smiled when I got up this morning and the sun came up and it was brilliant and it was wonderful. But even better than that was this sense that I had of being in the right place at the right time with the right people. And so I want to say to you something I learned from a friend of mine recently, and that is to say good morning, but how to say good morning. Good morning. Pretty darn good. Yes, you, Chris, especially. Yes. So one of the ways in which she greets the people when she starts her workday is with this robust good morning. And we'll do it one more time, but I want you to notice how you feel when you say it. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've started doing this with my husband, and he has started doing it in opera to me, because I will tell you, it is energizing to announce the day robustly, but especially to inform yourself. So it is a good morning as you have done that. Let's start today's service by sharing our statement of oneness and let that lead us into our opening prayer together. Say with me, there is one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God, the good omnipotence. And so I am going to do a favorite daily word, positive. My positive attitude helps me see the good in my life. Positivity is how I engage the world and how I live life. No matter what is going on in my world, I always have the power to choose my attitude. A positive attitude extends to all people I encounter. I am committed to beholding their divinity, no matter what they may be going through or the challenges they may be facing. Even though I see their humanity clearly, I know there is so much more to them than personality and circumstance. Positivity brightens my mood, enlivens my body, and keeps me eagerly expecting all of the good to come. I am blessed to see the best in myself, in others, and all around me. How perfect that is for today. I do want to start out this wonderful morning with our first song, Shalom, My Friend, because this is the beginning of Hanukkah. And I am grateful for the choir and our wonderful Patricia to lead us in that song.
Peace be with you. Shalom.
Beautiful choice for a song. Usually we go through all of our announcements today, but I'm going to skip that. And if anybody needs to know any specifics about the announcements that you do here every Sunday and are at our website, please check with Alan or me. And there are a lot of well-informed people in the audience as well. We are so grateful to have with us today our first candidate for the minister opening. And we're going to spend a lot of time with him today. I just want to let you know that our second candidates are coming next week, and that is Reverend Bob Bueller and his wife, Carla Golden, Reverend Carla Golden, and they will both be with us for the message next week, as well as for the potluck and afternoon workshop. One important thing that I did want to talk about is the passing of our wonderful Reverend Nancy Innes. I met Reverend Nancy through friends. I was at another New Thought church, but I had a chance to meet her, and she said to me, "I want to spend time with you." And so we went out and we arranged a time and we had coffee and we had a wonderful discussion. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity to know her, because all of you who have known Nancy through the years know that if you meet her, you are her friend and she is yours. And so she had many roles here at Unity through the years, including 2 times that she was interim minister, and then a span of time when she was the primary minister. She was a person with an open heart, an open soul, and such a love for Unity and such a deep affection for the people around her. And I wanted to take a moment to have us say a personal prayer in a moment of silence. Just if you knew her and if you know her, as she's starting her next part of her journey, I would just like you to put your hand at your heart. And if you didn't know her, you know her now. Your prayer is very important at this time of a transition. And so for a brief moment, wish her well on this beautiful part of her journey, and take a breath. And so, Reverend Nancy, thank you for all of the gifts that you shared with the world during your time here. And we wish you from our hearts Godspeed, Godspeed, as you engage in this next part. We know you, we love you, and we hold you in our hearts and our memories now and for always. And so it is. Join with me in the affirmation for our new minister. Say with me, together we affirm that we are calling in and are ready to receive another wonderful minister who is heart-centered, wise, sincere, humorous, collaborative, and who openly walks a spiritual path, love, growth, and service. And so it is. Our speaker today, Reverend David Hilburn, is somebody that I'm getting to know and enjoy. He is no stranger to Charlotte. His parents met in Charlotte while working for Standard Oil in 1953. His formative years were spent in Lumberton, and no, I am told he does not have webbed feet from living in the coastal plains. I guess that's a little bit of Carolina humor there. Dave graduated from the United States Military Academy in 1987 and served in the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, as well as in the United States Army Ranger Regiment. He has a lot of vocational experiences and opportunities in his life. He's done pretty much all of it. So we can really relate to him. A restaurant cook, a manager for Morrison's Cafeterias, car buyer for CarMax, human resources manager, recruiter, this one is really important, stand-up comic, and improv performer off-Broadway in New York City and Chicago, Illinois. Dave has been a Tai Chi instructor since 2001, and his hobbies include many things, including bonsai trees. He is an ordained Unity minister and a licensed practitioner of religious science. David Hilburn has been the spiritual leader of Unity of Kennesaw Spiritual Center for the last 5 years and currently lives in Marietta, Georgia, with his dog Buster and his cat Cow Kitty. I think that tells us a lot. And a ravenous parrot named Larry. I want you to give a very warm welcome to Reverend David.
Back in the military, we said you had to be at least 15% smarter than your equipment. Today, we might not make that. So, hey, everyone, let me ask. Alan says I can go over this way, this far. I can go over there, this far. So, what? Thank you, Alan. So what happens when you take a former military officer trained at West Point that becomes a stand-up comic, that becomes an improv actor, that becomes a Unity minister? Well, Unity Worldwide Ministries isn't really sure themselves, so we've got 25 minutes ahead of us. Alan, lock the doors. We've got a live audience. Okay, so today we've got, some people are saying it's going to be a prosperity message. It's really not. It's a manifestation message in our own right. And I want to take a verse from Matthew. If I can find it, I don't even have to remember it. But Jesus said, suffer the little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. See, children learn from adults, not necessarily by what we say, but what we do. And likewise, we can learn from children if we pay attention close enough. Now, as a child out in Robeson County, I can't remember doing anything too enlightened at all. I said, what's that kid going to do? Well, he's either going to go into the military or he's going to go to prison at an early age. So I did go in the military, never ended up elsewhere. But there was a child next door to us that was really angelic. He was the chosen one. He really was. And today's story, in which I am sort of a storyteller, National Storytellers Association, begins with him. And we're going to go back a few years. We're going to go back to 1975. 75, that's for some, I got it for a couple of you here. It's probably before you were born. For some of us, we remember it quite easily. I want to go back to October 31st. And little Tanner, next door to me, on November 1st, was looking out the door and said, we're at the bears. The little boy had seen all the trick-or-treaters come to his house, and his mother had given them tons of candy. Little Tanner had nothing. His mom said, Tanner, next year, you can go trick-or-treating with your daddy. And your little brother, Jeffrey, who is only 3 years old, will come and help me hand out candy next year. So let's zip forward to Halloween of 1976. Let's see what I'm pushing somewhere here. Just click. Oh, Reverend Dave, 1976. There he was. Ferocious looking one. I was already 5'2" and already like 140 pounds. All that happened is I gained a few more inches and a lot more inches around the waist. But there we have it. Let's see if I can put this on blackout. Nope. Okay, we'll just leave me up there. That's fine. So what happens? Today, we're going to be talking about how do we manifest in our life from the aspect of being a child, and especially at Halloween time? So little Jeffrey staying at home, little Tanner going out. First one. Oh, I get to click it. I get to click it again. Boop. Have unlimited expectation. It's right there. If you've got your little handouts there and you want to write it in, that's it. Have unlimited expectation. Little Tanner, of course, since we're right next door, he shows up at our house. He has his bag, which is nothing more than a pillowcase. And I don't know if many of you have like grandchildren or remember your children if they went trick-or-treating that first time. Oh my God. It's like complete expectation. He had no idea what to expect. But he just held out that bag and looked blankly at my mother and said, trick or treat? And mom just kept putting stuff in there. It's amazing how that worked. Now, most of us live with unlimited expectation if you're born of a certain time. Early October, there was two things that showed up in everybody's mailbox, and that was the Sears and Roebuck and J.C. Penney Christmas catalogs. My brother and I would have a knockdown fight from the mailbox into the house to see who was going to read which one first. That is the type of expectation we have to have. We have to have that. It's out there. It's coming. I don't know what's in the book, but it's something really good and I want it. So it has to be this way or really like no way or all. But little Tanner, first time out, no idea what to expect. No. We'll move on over here. Another one I'd like to hit you with is we have to live from a state of gratitude. Little Tanner, beautiful young boy. He's out there. He's got that. And he says he's never done this before. He doesn't know, like you get one or two pieces of candy and then that's it. So he just kept looking up at my mom. He had no idea. It was like, you're supposed to say thank you, close the bag, and move on to the next house. He just stayed there in amazement. Like, all I got to do is put on this little costume and hold this bag open and say trick or treat. And the old lady keeps filling it up. This is great. This is fantastic. Yes, that is the type of, living from a state of gratitude. Like, this is wonderful. This is beautiful. I can't believe it. But we lose that as we become older, isn't it? Reverend Pat, I'm so glad you had that welcoming with a good morning today, because we kind of lose that as we become adults, don't we? It's like, yeah, it's morning. Ugh. Maybe you've been ex-military and your feet hit the ground. It's like, oh man, I gotta get up, go to work today. At first, it's like, hey, I get a chance to go to work today. It's going to be great. I'm going to get a chance to interact with other people. And it's going to be a beautiful day in my life. Tanner's facial expressions were just enough thanks that people in the neighborhood, they just kept on putting it in there. It was like the kid absolutely glowed. Now, even up until this day, nobody can really remember, and this will come back to the end of the story, what Tanner actually wore. I thought it was a ghost, like a Charlie Brown ghosty sort of thing. And I think his mom said it was like he was wearing a devil's costume, which would have suited me better. But that's neither here nor there. He kept going around, kept going around. So our third point I'd like to bring up. Never say that's it. Never say that's it. Now, I'm going to read something from 2 Kings chapter 4. Now, the wife of the son of one of the men who tell what happens in the future cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead. You know that your servant honored the Lord with fear. But the men to whom he owed money has come to take my 2 children to make them serve him." Elijah said to her, "What can I do for you? What do you have in the house?" And she said, "Your woman servant has nothing in the house except for a jar of oil." He said, "Go around and get jars from all your neighbors. Get empty jars. Empty all of them. And then go in and shut the door behind you, you and your sons. Pour the oil into these jars and set aside each one that is full." So she went from him and then shut the door behind her and her sons. And they took the jars to her, and then she poured. And when the jars were full, she said to her sons, "Bring me yet another one." And he said to her, "There's not one jar left." And here's the critical point. Then the oil stopped flowing. Who limits our good? We do, right? The great thing about little Tanner, he didn't know when it was supposed to be full. He's like, keep on loading. His little eyes are up there. Keep putting it in there, Mama. I got room. I got the whole bag. Keep putting it in there. He really had no idea that there was an end to it. And he kept on going, and he kept on going from house to house and house. He was so overwhelmed and unaccustomed to getting candy. 6-year-old going door to door with his father, Ed Holland. It's like, and like his dad wasn't taking it away from him. There wasn't the mommy tax or the daddy tax like my brother and his wife imposed on their kids. It's like they went on trick or treat. Let's say, well, what you got in bag? Yeah, that's mommy tax stuff there, and the Kit Kat's mommy stuff there, and the Gobstopper, you can keep that, kids. So there was something always going on. So once Tanner got the idea of what to do, he was like a fish taking the water. Like, this is great. So here's the next part I want you to keep in mind. Ooh. Walk the talk, take action, live consciously. This is actually looks like a Unity principle, maybe like Unity principle 5 out there. It said, through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth that we know, knowing and understanding the laws of life. Also called truth are not enough. A person must also live the truth that they know. So how Tanner personified that, he walked the talk. He took action. That little 6-year-old went through a neighborhood in Forest Acres off of Barker 10-Mile Road, Lumberton, North Carolina, October 31st, 1976, 5 miles. He got the idea. It's like, wow, it's like smelling blood in the water to a shark. I can find the candy now. He drug his father all the way. Like, come on, Dad. Come here, Daddy. Come here, Daddy. Boom. 5 miles to that neighborhood. 5 miles. And that's rural neighborhoods. I mean, you still have a few of them around here, but I mean, like, we're talking back in the woods. It was like, and it went on for a long ways. It was great. He was living consciously. He was taking action. He was walking the talk. He was walking the walk. Now, next point. Let's just go ahead and knock her out. Now we're starting to get into the serious part. We're getting serious here. To receive, you may have to pour yourself out. And this is something we're going to be discussing later on at the seminar, is to receive more, you have to like empty it all out sometimes. Okay? So a long time ago, was a wise Zen master. And people from far and near would come to him, ask to become his students, and ask him to teach them. So one day, a very important man, a very wealthy person, came to the Zen master and said, "Oh, master, I would like to become your student." He said, "I have studied far and wide. I have learned many things." And the Zen master, utilizing his power of discernment, said, "Oh, really?" And asked for tea to be brought. And he was going to do the tea ceremony for the man. I said, "Great." So he kept pouring tea and pouring tea and pouring. He said, "Oh, yes." He says, like, "Well, we have a lot of meditations." "Oh, yes, I've done a lot of meditation." The Zen master kept pouring and kept pouring. And we have a certain regime we follow around here. We get up and we pray, and then we meditate, and then we do our daily chores. "Oh, I'm completely used to that." And the Zen master kept pouring, and he kept pouring. I said, "That's wonderful. This is wonderful." And they kept going back and forth. And the man that was well-to-do was like, "Oh, I've already done this. I've already experienced this. I'm cool with that." And the Zen master kept pouring and pouring and pouring. It was overflowing the cup. And the guy said, "Hey, whoa. The cup is overflowed." Zen master puts down the teapot and said, "It's like this." I'm sure he didn't say it's like this. He said, You refuse to empty your cup. How can it be filled here? How can it be filled here? So sometimes we do have to empty out. 8:45, October 31st, 1976. Trick-or-treating's almost over. I'm already back in. Trick-or-treat's for kids. There's one last little knock on my parents' front door. Knock, knock, knock. They opened the door. You know who it was, right? What the little monkey had done is he had gone home and got him a whole nother bag. Almost empty. He had been driving around. So he had emptied himself, and God said, I've got a whole nother way to contain. I've got it under control. Trick or treat. My father looked at him, and then he looked at Ed Holland 4 or 5 feet behind him, and then he took the big bowl and said, you know, you might as well just take the whole thing. And he dumped what was left right in Tanner's bag. And that is a true story. So we got to now we're really getting to the gist. The serious. I am serious. I am serious. So you might come to say to yourself, if you've checked the things up, Dave, you just had in the middle of a heart-centered, wise, sincere, humorous, and collaborative talk. Some of y'all pay attention to the announcements too, aren't you? So do I when I was downloading the last 3 months. So that's great. But you can say to yourself, so what? And then when I do a talk, that's the thing I always have to ask myself. I said, so what? Is this going to transform lives? Is this going to be something that makes a difference in somebody else's life? Is it just me? Is it just the Dave show? Or what I'm about to share is going to make a difference in somebody else's life as we move forward? And that's my test. If it doesn't make it, then, well, that's a nice idea. I can use that on the stage at storytelling or something else. But this is one we have to ask ourselves, who? Does that mean to like get off the stage or what? Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. As long as it's not like, Dave, that's your exit music. That's your bumper music to get off. Okay. But again, the major question is, who are we doing this for? And for ourselves? Maybe. So we have to do stuff that will, at most, for ourselves, could only last one lifetime. But if we do stuff for others, I should have told everybody, hey, put that thing on stun, before you get started. It's fine. We're cool. Point 6. And it is, we expand our consciousness and our own personal abundance through service to others. That's where we empty ourselves out. That's how we expand our own consciousness, our own sense of well-being. Okay. Now this you've probably seen before, and I'm going to read the whole thing. Boop. Marianne Williamson. I think we've got a few people here that have done the Course in Miracles, maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, it's significant. Okay. So it's put like this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Let that sink in for a second, or as we say in Unity, process that for a moment. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Here's the big kicker. Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that the other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just for some of us, it's for all of us. as we let our own light shine, we consciously, unconsciously, give other people permission to do the same. So if I shine, that should allow you to shine, and we all shine back on each other. Does anybody, before I get to the rest of this, I'm just going to ask this. Anybody have sunflowers around here? Grow sunflowers, have them? That's my favorite flower, At my ordination, the whole place was lined up with sunflowers. Sunflowers, when it becomes dark, during the day, they're up here like, I'm checking out the sun. This is great. When it becomes dark, they turn in toward each other. They are the light for each other. Wonderful stuff. So as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates other. So we're going to do the post-mortem on the Tanner story here. Now, Tanner, after he hit us at 8:45, he went back over to his house, which is, if you're looking out our front door, just over to the right-hand side. Doing for others. So Tanner went in with his second full bag of candy. He saw his mother, Shirley. Hey, went right by her, charged up the steps. He went to his brother's Jeffrey's room, who was 3 years old. Throws open the door. Jeffrey, for you. Yeah. So, what can we say about a kid like that? He learned early on, right? He's out there beating the street, doing what he had to do. They get the candy, not just for himself, but for his little brother who was staying back and wasn't going to be able to go out for another 2 more years. There he was, a whole big pillowcase full of candy. And this is really a true story because I'm about to show you what, remember, it happened in 76, right? Let's roll the years up a little bit. Boof. That young man right there is Mr. Tanner Holland. Oh, yeah, Tanner Holland. And today, if you were to check out the McDonald York Building Company in Raleigh, North Carolina, you would find that gentleman's picture is right beside the title President and CEO. Folks, I think keeping track on him over the last couple decades, I have watched him grow up. I mean, he's so much younger than me. He's not that much younger than me. He's 6 years younger. So he's like 51 now. But the man learned spiritual principle early on. He was there. And is he as much fun as I am? No. But does he have children? Yes. And he still makes them go out trick-or-treating until they're 6. And with that, folks, that concludes our message for today. If I can turn this off. Ooh, will that do it? No. Oh, we got something pretty. This is good. I'll go with that. Now, we are going to have a meditation. We've got a meditation. So if you get comfortable and the talk rolls into the meditation, rolls into, thank you, rolls into our seminar this afternoon. So we could hit a bit of music, got a bit of music somewhere. Stephanie's working on it. We'll just go ahead and start. Oh yeah. I just invite you to get comfortable just for a few moments. The best way that you know how. If you feel comfortable to close your eyes, marvelous. Take a deep breath with me. And let it out. And let us open our consciousness to the receptivity of the divine. Take another deep breath on that. In the divine, there can never be any saturation because God is infinite. When we learn to believe that, our belief is increased. Because we cannot contract the infinite, but we can expand the finite. So in this moment, this holy moment of now, I ask you to allow yourselves to open your consciousness to a receptivity of the divine. I'd like you to ask yourself, what is it that I really seek? Is it to discover God in everything? To see the divine manifest in everyone? To come into close and conscious communion with life itself. Jesus proclaimed, I and the Father are one. We are also one with the Spirit and cannot be separated from it. Our words have power because our word is the action of the divine through our thoughts. Power is, and we use it. We do not need to create it. So let's seek to use the power of our word more generously with a greater idea of its benefits, its abundance, and its ever availability. Today, we vow to believe, and our belief is increased. Today, we walk in the light of God's love. Today, we are guided, and our guidance is multiplied. Today, we ask, and we receive. Today, we seek, and know that we shall find. Today, we knock, and know it shall be opened unto us. Today, we receive the gift of God in all their fullness, unstinted and complete. I'm going to ask you to contemplate all of this. We try to go into the silence for just a few moments. As we come out of the silence and come back to this present moment, we are grateful for all the things that we have had a chance to experience, receiving, giving, living today. As we might let the eyes flutter just a bit and come back to this present moment, let's take one more giant breath. Let it go and say, Amen. And so it is. And folks, my name is David Hilburn. I'm a ministerial candidate for your church. I'd like the job. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. Namaste.
Thank you. And thank you. Very much appreciate that. And guess what? That's just the beginning. We have them for this afternoon too. And I hope you're all going to join us for the potluck and the workshop this afternoon. The instructions to get to the Marriott are out in the lobby. Please pick up a copy so you know how to get there. It's immediately following service. So keep that in mind. I'll mention it again at the end. Right now, that was the perfect preparation for what we call our offertory, our opportunity to practice the law of circulation. And I loved the story about Tanner, and I loved the ending about Tanner and who he became as he matured. It was a delightful story, especially so close to Halloween. And so with that kind of a spirit, let us open our hearts, let us be grateful, and let us share in the prosperity. I will say the candidating process comes with some additional expenses to the church, which is a wonderful thing, because then we all get a chance to participate at a higher level and also to practice more circulation. So with that in mind, hold your gift to your heart and share with me and speak our prosperity blessing. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing that the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and bless you, Tanner, and bless you, Reverend Dave. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God unfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.